Hi, I'm Underbelly, and you suck at producing. Are you tired of spending time and energy making music? Well, I sure am. But thankfully, there's an easier way. It's called doing a remix. Basically, it's like writing a whole song, but all the dirty work's already done for you. So when my friend Mr. Bill hit me up to do a remix of his and Scope's song 2020, I said, no problem, mate. And in this video, I'll show you all the techniques I used for making a remix quickly and efficiently. Let's get started. Okay, so check it. My first tip for making sick remixes is to take an idea that's present sparingly in the original and repeat the crap out of it in your remix. So for example, in the original, there's this pretty sweet perky synth, sounds like this. I'm going to make it even more perky by slapping this gate on there to take out the little reverb trails and noise at the bottom. I'm going to give this perky synth some balls by adding this gun sub underneath. Together it sounds like this. Now, one little cool secret for making these gun subs, and I didn't make this, my boy Eli Derp did, is mapping the envelope 2 in this case, to the master tuning. So without that, it just sounds like a regular ass bass. But with it, it kind of gives it that extra bit of kick, that percussiveness that really has it cut through the mix. Beautiful. And then over the top of those two elements, I have another one of Eli's perks here. This is just a sample. And then some extra synth fuckery courtesy of Mr. Bill. So in total, all these elements sound like this. Amazing. And if we scroll back down to our drums, I'm kicking things off with a really simple kick snare drum beat. Using all of Eli's sounds here. Shifted the hi-hats a little bit late to give it that drunk feel. And occasionally on some of these snares, I have this dub echo to kind of give it that Rastafari feel. Beautiful. And if we hear those drums with the groove I have on top, don't forget to turn on sidechain with this duck buddy thing. Sounds like this. All right, so for the next section, I'm ashamed to say that I did add something original. If we solo out these wobble chords and take all these squigglies off, this sound at its core is just a simple sine wave coming out of operator. All I'm playing here is just a F minor chord with a little bit of half step movement at the end. And to give it that wobble, I'm going to add this LFO and map it to the oscillator B level. So you can see the knob going up and down, and that's adding some harmonics every once in a while. Let's hear it. And to give it that final bit of wobble, I'm going to add this auto pan, change it to quarter notes, and turn the amount all the way up, phase all the way down. Beautiful. Let's hear it in the mix. All right, so my second tip for making dope remixes is reharmonization. Basically, it's taking the melodies in the original and adding new chords and bass lines underneath so they sound ultra fresh again. Now, the melody in the original here is real simple. It's just this reverse synth thing I've looped. And underneath that, I'm adding these stupid chords. Let's take a listen. Now, instead of playing 3-note chords like this, these are called triads. Sounds terrible. I'm just eliminating the third completely and sticking with the root and fifth of each chord. These are called power chords, and they sound way sicker for the dubstep kids. Let's hear it all together now. Okay, so I am truly ashamed of saying this, but I actually wrote yet another chord progression for the next section here. And worse yet, it's got more than 2 notes per chord. All the big dick dubstep producers are going to be laughing at me for the rest of my life for this. Okay, well, I already admitted my sins, so let's just go ahead and analyze this. All right, so the basic chord progression is D flat major, E flat major, F minor, and A flat major. Now I'm going to double the root note and the fifth of each chord down an octave so they sound bigger. It's going to sound more like this. And then I'm going to add sevenths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a little prettier. And then I'm going to add 7ths and 9ths to each chord and make them sound a lit Okie dokie, let's hear it in the mix. Oh, it's beautiful. I know, let's add another one of Mr. Bill's synths. Oh my god, sounds terrible. So how do we make this synth actually palatable? Well, here's a sitch. I'm gonna slap spectral resonator on there. And if you set it to the MIDI setting, you can select a MIDI track as its input. So I'm going to use this MIDI track. I'm just playing power chord versions of the chord progression on top here. And I'm going to re-pitch the bell synth here to actually play these power chords instead of whatever terrible thing it's doing now. So let's hear it with the spectral resonator off and back on. Holy shit! So much better! Let's hear it in the mix. That's insane. All right, now for this drop, I want to get rid of those disgusting chords and focus on what really matters, some sick bass sounds. Now, I'm just chopping up Mr. Bill's basses here. And I'm kind of doing a call and response between these and my gun sub here. Now, when we switch to my gun sub, I'm actually doing a triplet groove, 8th note triplets here. So in total, it'll sound like this. And just layering this funny laser sound over the top of this gun sub over here. Oh, that's humorous. And just add some melodic content over the top. I'm just using some vocal chops from the original tune. Let's hear it. And a little bit of those wobble chords over the top. All right, now here I wanted to do a super sick bass glitch fill. So I took a little sliver of one of Mr. Bill's basses, made sure warping was on, and hit ×2 as many times as I could. That stretches out the sample. Let's take a listen. Okay, not so great, but if I switch the warp mode to tones here and mess with the grain size, I can get really cool bass glitch fills. And just to make sure that this touches the next bass, I'm going to hold down Command and Shift on my keyboard. You'll see this little arrow pop up next to the cursor icon, and click and drag to the right to stretch it out even further. Let's take a listen in the mix. Oh shit! All right, in the next section, I'm adding a couple more layers. This one's my boy Eli Derp's dupe layer. Okay, beautiful. And then underneath that, I have a little vital patch I've made. This is just a simple sawtooth whump. Oh, so cute. But I've added the chord MIDI effect so that it plays a minor chord every single time. Do a little half step thing on the triplets there. Let's hear it in the mix. And just to cap off my litany of sin, I'm expanding on the chord progression even further for the end of the track, daring to go as high as a B-flat minor chord. And then pushing it even further up to a D-flat major. What the fuck? And I dare even tarnish Mr. Bill synths. I'm pitching the audio up to match the root notes of the chords on top. Let's hear it all together. Oh God. In the mix. Back down. And just layering a couple impacts together for that last big bang. Wowzers! Thanks for watching. You can check out my remix by clicking the link below, alongside other amazing remixes by Virtual Riot, Culprate, The Whittler, and many more. I'm Underbelly. Have a great